What's up? What's up? It's your boy Domuto. We back in another video today, but watching Saiyan. What if Goten was Gohan's twin? Part 11, maybe 12 today. We'll see. But part 11, and yeah, Trunks just went into the back into the past. So in this Vegeta black, not Goku black. So we about to see what's going on. This is more psychological, fucked up shit right now. So we gonna get into it. Let's go. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe as well.
Turn to the present.
Shout out to Saiyan.
Not all is lost in his timeline just yet, especially thanks to the help of Android 16 being there. Naturally, everyone's surprised to see him return, and soon enough, they hear the reason why. Also, they see the reason why, because Vegeta Black appears in the past timeline. Now, naturally, with Vegeta seeing an imposter of himself, he's gonna be pretty pissed off, and he tries to kill him instantly. He doesn't play around. But Vegeta Black is also going to play it safe. He knows that it might be too dangerous to be here just right now. So, he'll wait a bit to come back, or he'll wait for Trunks to return, whatever happens sooner. He nearly does die against Vegeta, but is able to escape in the nick of time. Instead of being pulled back into the future, he willingly goes back there. And this pain that he got from fighting Vegeta, this will make him stronger. So, it's not a complete loss. He could turn this into a good thing for himself. Plus, he was able to destroy Trunks' time machine when he did get back there.
He did that.
Which is going to create some issues for everyone in the present timeline. So that was pretty chaotic for everybody, but at least now they have a moment to breathe. This is especially weird for Vegeta. He came face to face with an imposter of himself, who clearly isn't him. There's no doubt about it. That guy looks like him, but it isn't him. Vegeta knows he was a bad guy in the past too, but that's not how he would act. That's not an evil Vegeta. That's someone completely different. He knows what an evil Vegeta looks like. But also, this is an interesting opportunity for Vegeta. Last time Trunks was here, he never even knew who Trunks was. He didn't realize until after the fact. And Raditz was kind of right to call him an idiot for not realizing earlier on. But now this is a good chance for him to actually get to know Trunks, the future version. Of course, he has his own version of Trunks too. But it puts their last encounter into perspective. He treated Trunks just as an ally, barely even that. He was an acquaintance at best, not realizing that that was his son. Despite things seeming bad right now, this might be a good opportunity for Vegeta to make amends with that, and actually get to know Trunks more. And although he doesn't show it on the surface, he does want to make it up to Trunks. As for Trunks too, he's glad to see Vegeta again. And by now it's obvious that Vegeta would know who he is, especially because Trunks sees the past version of himself here too. It's a pretty emotional encounter for him, especially because he also gets to see Gohan and Goten, the people that he grew up with and knew the longest. They look different from their future selves, but there's no doubt about it. It clearly is them, and they're thriving. This is a timeline where they actually get to live their lives normally. They don't have to fight constantly and be faithful.
If they both was in the past, no way they should have got their ass whooped by the androids, but whatever.
With turmoil. That's not to say their life is completely peaceful, but they're able to live here, both in the sense of having a fulfilling life and actually still being alive. It's bittersweet. It reminds him of future Gohan and Goten, but also it makes him happy for this present version. Even if the future ones didn't get to have that sort of life, these two are able to accomplish what they want. They even have their own families now. And he can also clearly see that the present version of Trunks, that Trunks looks up to Gohan and Goten just like this Trunks does. Despite the differences in timelines, it seems their relationship still remains the same, which makes him happy. It seems even in peaceful life, they're good mentors for Trunks. Not just that, older brother figures too. Of course, with that imposter showing up, everybody does want to help, but it's kind of tough to do so because the time machine isn't going to be able to fit everyone. Sure, Bulma might be able to expand it a bit, but it can only fit so many people. She can't create a giant time machine, especially because it's going to take more fuel to bring that. It already takes long enough to make fuel as is, and they don't really want to waste too much time here. So she is able to expand it a little bit, but right now it's not like it's going to fit the entire cast in there. Everyone wants to do something. Gohan, Goten, Vegeta, Raditz, Goku, Piccolo. Anyone who can help does want to. But they can't just squish everyone in there because it needs to be controlled somehow. So for the time being, they have to decide who goes. Vegeta says he's going regardless. This is his battle, especially because it's his imposter.
It is his imposter.
It's his
You
son.
gotta go.
Gohan and Goten would be a good fit too because they're two of the strongest people here. And Trunks says they also have Android 16 in the future. Once the time machine is refueled, they go to the future. And all the while, Beerus and Whis want to look into who Vegeta Black truly is. Since Goku and Raditz are left behind, they go along, with Piccolo also following too. The three of them will try and solve that mystery, while the four others will go to the future. Trunks' time machine arrives back in his timeline. And this is a strange encounter for Vegeta. Future Bulma's actually alive here, which is obviously a good thing. And she can't believe what she's seeing. It's been so long since she last saw Vegeta. And for Vegeta, it's him seeing his wife, but it's not actually his wife. She's glad to see him, even though it's not her Vegeta. But it gives her comfort knowing that this is how Vegeta would have turned out. He was a good guy. And thankfully she's not going to smother him because she really didn't get too close to Vegeta. At least not nearly compared to how close they are in the main timeline.
Right.
But for Vegeta, it is strange because it's the woman he loves, in a sense, but not really.
Way older.
He really doesn't know how to feel here. Especially because he's more so focused on his imposter, too. Fuming at the fact that someone's impersonating him and attacking this timeline. Attacking his son. Attacking his wife. Destroying all the people and things here. He's not going to stand for it. Bulma also thinks the same of Gohan and Goten. Those two she actually knew for a while. She has the same view on them as Trunks does. Once again, these two are back to help them, even if it's not the same Gohan and Goten she knew. Thankfully, the group doesn't have to wait too long for Vegeta Black to appear. Also, with an ally at his side, Zamasu. Vegeta Black's not only healed, but he's grown stronger, and he thanks Vegeta for the fight. Even though he might have lost there, he got something way greater from it. Showcasing his newest power, Super Saiyan Rose. Great, another hair color. Not that Vegeta really cares. He showcases his own form, Super Saiyan Blue.
Okay.
He doesn't know what that pink-haired one is, but this form is definitely superior, especially because Vegeta's an actual Saiyan. He owns this body. He knows how to use it properly. Vegeta does have a tough battle at first, but Piccolo eventually joins in too using his orange form. Wait, Piccolo? Where the hell did he come from?
Yeah, where he come from?
Well, since they've had a few days now, and so many people working on figuring out who Vegeta Black truly is, Piccolo came to the future to see himself what's going on. They see Shin nearby as well, responsible for transporting him here. This surprises Vegeta Black as well. And Piccolo tells Shin he can go back to get the others. Now that he gets to see the future timeline with his own eyes, he can confirm that it was Zamasu that they were thinking of. Now they know the identity of Vegeta Black, and know that another Zamasu is involved somehow. Piccolo, Beerus, and Whis were able to deduce this pretty easily. So, Shin goes back to get Raditz and Goku and tell them what's happening, and Piccolo helps Vegeta out in the battle. Funny enough, the two of them do have some experience fighting together. Vegeta was hoping he'd be able to handle this alone, but he does thank Piccolo for the help. For his own sake, he would have loved to defeat Vegeta Black single-handedly. But the most important thing is that they get to destroy him, and if he needs Piccolo to do that, so be it. With the two of them working together, Vegeta Black's completely overwhelmed and does have to retreat to heal a bit. With that strange Kai next to him also retreating. They don't really have a clue of who he is yet, but they could tell he's probably going to heal Vegeta Black. But Piccolo says it's not really a big deal. He holds a hand out to Vegeta, doing the same thing and healing Vegeta. While they were fighting Vegeta Black, the Hybrid Saiyans were all fighting Zamasu together. This seemed like overkill at first, especially because Trunks alone could have handled him, but somehow, he was able to survive. It seems like he's immortal somehow.
He's definitely immortal.
Plus, with what those two told them, it seems like it's all making sense now. Vegeta Black is Zamasu from another timeline, and Zamasu, he's the one from this timeline, but immortal. So, it shouldn't be too hard to defeat them. All they'll have to do is seal Zamasu, which Piccolo could pull off pretty easily. Just use a Mafuma, maybe. And as for Vegeta Black, well, he's going to be a little stronger when he returns, but they're also going to have more people helping. Shin and even Gowasu arrive in the future now. This time with Goku and Raditz. Beerus and Whis didn't come along because they're not going to mess with this. With the Saiyan brothers being caught up to speed as well. Goku's also brought some Senzus along with him, plus, they have the Kais here, and Piccolo has his own healing powers too. They have more than what they need. Plus, even though the time machine's not going to fit everybody, they have two people that could use time rings. Goku, Raditz, and Piccolo temporarily have their own as well, allowing them to travel with those two Kais. They just hope these rings don't do anything weird to them. Especially because technically they're not even supposed to be using them, or even really capable of it, but temporarily they can. But all at once, everyone senses something pretty ominous. And in the distance, there's a brilliant pillar of light. They don't sense Vegeta Black and Zamasu anymore. They just sense one power. And materializing in front of them, a new warrior teleports in, floating above them. It's a fusion of Vegeta Black and Zamasu. They could sense everyone arriving in this timeline, and no matter what the cost, they're going to win this battle. So they pull out their trump card and fuse together. The immense power of Vegeta Black combined with the immortal body of Zamasu. This is the ultimate fusion. And no matter how many people they bring in, they won't win. First, he attacks Piccolo and Vegeta, the two people responsible for attacking him last time, who he knows has a lot of power. Bolts of lightning rain down from the sky on the two of them. Piccolo's barely able to defend at the last second, but it does a lot of damage to him still. And Vegeta takes even more damage. Both of them are completely out of the fight now. That power is unlike anything they could have expected. Goku and Raditz each power up too, both showcasing their own Super Saiyan Blue. Raditz of course still does have Ultimate and everything, but he's going to use this for now. And as for Goku, he's able to keep up on his own. So despite Raditz having an advantage in power before, now the two of them are about even again. And he's glad to have an opportunity to fight with Raditz once more. The Kais go to heal Piccolo and Vegeta, with Gohan, Goten, Trunks, and 16 trying to help as well. But no matter what they do, no matter what powers they combine together, it's not working. Nothing they could do
all of them
would
have fucked fuse and might as well stop it.
Completely unaffected. And as the two others are being healed by the Kais, Piccolo asks them something. How did those two fuse? What did they do for that? And Gowasu explains it has to do with the Batara earrings. Well, Shin and Gowasu both have their own sets of Batara earrings right now, so can't they use that and do the same thing? Well, they could, but their fusions aren't going to last as long. Fusions between Kais are permanent, but with mortals it's only going to be an hour, and maybe even less if they use too much strength. But Piccolo says they don't even need that much time. They just need that power in a pinch to kill Zamasu. or at least contain him somehow because they might need to do that instead.
Yep.
Piccolo and
That's
Vegeta
all
are
they gotta
fully
do.
healed. With Piccolo getting 2 sets of Atari earrings, he has a good idea of who he thinks should fuse. But before they go into fight, he asks Vegeta if he'd like to fuse with anyone. He's not going to fuse with Kakarot, nor is he going to fuse with Raditz. If anything, he'd prefer to fuse with Trunks, but he's not saying this because he's too prideful, but rather, he thinks the two of them would work better together. Possibly even those twins fusing too. Gowasu did mention, some fusions are more compatible than others, so what about 2 brothers fusing? Both fusions would be that, and Gohan and Goten fusing?
Yeah.
That might be even better, they're twins. Piccolo teleports both of them over, with Piccolo mentally communicating with the other 4, telling them his plan. They need to back off for now, and Vegeta and Piccolo will try and just distract Zamasu. Piccolo covertly gives them the earrings, teleporting them away quickly and then teleporting back in. Zamasu has no clue what they're planning, but it's not going to work. Although, the 4 of them are still kind of lost. Piccolo told them what they're supposed to be doing here, but they still don't really get it. They're going to be doing the same sort of fusion as Zamasu? Well, hopefully it works. It does sound kind of cool, though. Without hesitation, Goku puts an earring on, and then holds out the other for Raditz.
Oh, 2
Fusing
sets of
with
brothers.
Kakarot, huh?
God damn
That
it.
does sound interesting. Gohan and Goten are a bit concerned about this, but they both think the same thing at the same time. It sounds crazy, but awesome. Raditz does hesitate a bit, but Gohan and Goten put the earrings on without any hesitation. And seeing his nephew
wasn't
do
even thinking about that.
he says, "What the hell?" and puts on his own earring. And both these fusions know that they only have an
It's
hour
about to be an
work.
ugly ass
And to keep the
fusion
fusion
right here.
stable,
Let's see
they
it.
should pace
Let's see
themselves,
it.
not using too much strength. As 2 new fusions are born. The first one that appears is a fusion between Gohan and Goten. He'll name himself Goten. Wait, how about, no, Gohan. Actually, still, that doesn't work. You know what? How about just calling himself Hanten? Yeah, that name works. Hanten rushes over as the other fusion completes, immediately
Hanten,
powering up
I can fuck with it.
his most stable and strongest form. The other fusion fully forms and cracks his knuckles, taking a look at himself in a window nearby. So this is what Raditz and Kakarot look like fused together, huh? It even fused their outfits together. Cool. And what if Raditz survived?
Hell
and the
no.
fusion dance version
I already
of
knew it was
Godens.
going to be ugly.
This design is actually an unused one from that What If, so we'll be sticking with the same name that I used for this fusion, that being Radarat. Pretty radical name. He immediately powers up into Super Saiyan Blue, flying over to join Hanten in the fight. Piccolo and Vegeta can sense the 2 of them arriving, with Trunks and 16 also following suit. They each witness the fusions being made, and they can't believe it still. Trunks first flies in at Zamasu, flinging his sword right through him, which doesn't do anything, but it acts as a distraction, getting Zamasu to look right at Trunks as he performs a solar flare, blinding him. Then simultaneously, the 2 fusions attack Zamasu together. Piccolo also falls back, preparing to seal Zamasu. They just need to all hold him off at once. And Hanten's glad to see his uncle, or his father-uncle, joining in. He doesn't know what the relation is there. But this should be a fun battle. Hanten's also pretty happy, or at least the Goten side of him is, because his tail's back. He wasn't sure if this fusion would have a tail. The Goten part of him really missed that feeling. And Radarat's a bit jealous because it's been a while since either of them had a tail. The 2 fusions completely overwhelm Zamasu together, but they still do pace themselves as to not defuse right away. And since they're fusions, they might as well use fused moves too, right?
Right.
Well, as for Gohan and Goten, they basically have the same moveset, but how about fusing 2 other moves together? The Masenko and the Kamehameha. And as for Radarat, it's pretty simple for him to fuse 2 ultimate moves together. Raditz' Fortnite
You
Flash,
about to
and
double
Goku's
Kamehameha?
So together, the 2 of them charge their ultimate moves, easily holding Zamasu off, with Vegeta, Trunks, and 16 also doing their part. Vegeta tells them whatever the
Kamea
cost, that
Sunday.
imposter's gonna go. And Trunks will protect his timeline by any means necessary. You know, Vegeta kinda regrets not fusing. Maybe he and Trunks should have fused together. But all that matters now is that they win here. Hanten shouts, Masenko Hameha, as Radarat shouts, Fortnite Kamehameha. Sorry. I should have stuck with Sabbatical as the name for that move, because Fortnite Kamehameha
shit.
just sounds funny. Their ultimate moves strike together. Now, Zamasu's body's already been long destroyed, but this destroys it even further.
Okay,
Trying to
buck it
regenerate,
up then.
but it can't fully regenerate. If they push any further, his essence will be completely disembodied and just merge with the universe, but thankfully it doesn't get to that point, because the second these attacks hit, it weakens him and stuns him just enough for Piccolo to unleash his move, the Mafuba. It takes a lot of power, especially with how strong fused Zamasu is at this point. But he's been weakened enough to seal, and Piccolo's able to create something strong enough, having to use the Mafuba in his orange form to accomplish this. With Shin and Gowasu also joining in, trying to add power to the seal, using all of their combined strength and magic. And immediately after launching their ultimate attacks, the 2 fused fighters defuse. Raditz and Goku had a lot of fun with that, and as for Gohan and Goten, they enjoyed it too. Although Goten's a bit bummed that he doesn't have his tail, and Gohan did like using the ultimate form for a bit, and he's bummed that he doesn't have it for himself right now. It feels like when using that form, the fusion kind of unlocks some of his own power with ultimate. Weird, he'll have to remember that. Fusing was pretty fun. The 2 Kais are going to handle this Zamasu, taking him away and making sure that he won't come back. The timeline did take significant damage, but thankfully, it could still be restored. And not everyone died. there's still a lot of people left on Earth, even though most of them perished.
Right.
But it seems like for now, Trunks' timeline is at least safe. He wishes he could have done more, and he doesn't like the fact that he had to rely on everyone else to help him. But Vegeta tells him he did the right thing. He's not disappointed in Trunks. Actually, he's impressed, especially after watching him fight. Despite Trunks knowing that he was completely outmatched, he still fought with everything he had and didn't give up. Just how he'd wanted.
I fought with that, yeah. Trunks,
and
you
most
did your thing.
for Vegeta, they were able to get rid of that imposter. Clearly, he didn't deserve Vegeta's body. How pitiful. He talked about trying to destroy mortals and how weak they were. But in the end, he was destroyed by mortals. Fusing with godly
That's
power,
true.
no less. Trunks, Bulma, 16, and Mai thank everyone for their help, bidding them all farewell. Shin and Gowasu take trips to get everyone back home so they can leave the time machine here just in case. Even though they really shouldn't be leaving the time machine. And as they all go home, Vegeta does wonder to himself, what would it be like to fuse with someone? Mainly Trunks. It's not like he'd ever fuse with Kakarot, not in any timeline, right? The Pure Saiyans continue their training with Whis.
Alright, 12.
Trying to go beyond Super Saiyan Blue somehow, if there even is a way to go beyond it. Vegeta and Raditz wonder if they
Part
can do
12,
something with
fuck
their
it.
ultimate form in combination with this, but they're not necessarily too sure. As for Goku, he tries to use Kaioken with it more, which he hasn't really touched in a while. Maybe he can work this with Super Saiyan Blue, but they need to find a true way to ascend Super Saiyan Blue, not just this. Or maybe it's not even something beyond Super Saiyan Blue at all. Maybe it's something completely separate. As for Gohan and Goten, they stay on Earth still and work on their evolutions together. When they fused, Hanten tried to use his ultimate form, and it really just drew out the power from both of their separate forms, Super Saiyan 4 and Ultimate. Whatever that was, it's something that they're not going to be able to achieve on their own because that was something the fusion had due to its weird circumstances. But what it does show them is that they're going down the right path. Whatever they're working with now, they need to continue working with that. Because when they transformed, they were just trying to draw out as much power as possible, and that's what it was. It drew out from both of those forms. So individually, they're going to have to continue working on those things. And maybe they can go back to basics too, working on their anger and seeing if they can access something with that somehow. Or mainly just focusing on the power that's derived from their tails, even though only one of them has a tail. And after fighting while fused, both of them realized what the other powers felt like. Goten got to feel what the power of Super Saiyan 4 coursing through his veins was like, and as for Gohan, he felt that for Ultimate, or at least Goten's version of Ultimate. So despite these two forms being exclusive to each other, they both got somewhat of an experience with it, and the memories of it by fusing. After some time passes, we get to the Tournament of Power. This time around, the team's gonna be a little bit different, but it's going to have a lot of people that you probably expect.
Definitely a powerhouse.
Obviously, there's Goku, Vegeta, Goten, Gohan, Piccolo, and Raditz. So right there, they already have 6 people. Another great choice would be Android 16, especially if Bulma was able to upgrade him a bit. He already has been upgraded a bit, so he should be good to go. But that gets the rest of the group thinking too. If Android 16's on the team, why not try getting the other androids? Obviously they can get Krillin on the team, and with Krillin there, they might try and get Android 18 as well. What about Android 17? He's got to be out there somewhere too. They're able to find him,
That
and
team fire.
he actually does join the team after some convincing from Goku. And with that, we have a full team. Now they have all the 10 people they need. No need to revive an old villain either. In terms of a leader though, they decide the best leader would probably be Gohan or Goten, and they let the two of them decide, which they do by a game of rock, paper, scissors. And Goten ends up being the leader, which is only fair because Gohan got to join the Universe X tournament over him, so it's right that he gets a shot at this. Well, that is true, but Gohan's a little bit bummed because he didn't even get to fight in that tournament. But whatever. They're both going to be fighting here, so even though Goten's leader, it's not like he's really missing out on anything. Especially because right when the tournament begins, half the team doesn't even listen to Goten. Goku, Vegeta, 18, and 17 go off on their own. Surprisingly, Raditz doesn't leave immediately, and he tells Goten that their strategy's good right there, but they should know by now that Saiyans don't really work like that. Which also includes his uncle, with Raditz also leaving too.
What the fuck?
Well, as leader of the team, Goten decides he has a better
Wait, y'all
idea.
saw that?
Why don't they all split up? All the androids and Saiyans went off on their own, and Krillin even joined
the
Android
hell?
18 by now. With 16 being directed by Vegeta to fight everyone else on his own too. Listening to him because technically, Vegeta is the husband of his boss. But with the group in the center, people try and attack them, but they lose really quickly. Because even with just Gohan, Goten, and Piccolo together, they pretty much overpower everybody in the ring at the moment, besides a select few fighters, so they split off on their own. They each individually have more than enough power, and if they need to join up, they could do so pretty quickly. As everyone continues fighting, this eventually leads to Goku facing off against Jiren. But he doesn't do that alone. Raditz ends up trying to join him, and Goku would rather fight this alone, but Raditz can tell just by the guy's presence, Goku's gonna need some help. Well, it's fine. He likes fighting alongside Raditz, and he just tells Raditz to keep up. If they're gonna fight together, he hopes Raditz can keep up with his speed.
Yeah.
But Raditz can more than do so.
Can
They
he?
are both around the same level of power right now, after all. They fight Jiren together, cycling through all their forms. The two of them eventually make it to Super Saiyan Blue, then showing off a new level of their power. As Goku goes into Blue Kaioken, and Raditz follows suit too. It did take a little bit of time to learn this, but after seeing Goku use it, Raditz wanted to get it for himself too. Goku showed him some of
Hey,
it,
you a
and
following
he even
ass
traveled to
nigga,
King
right?
Kai's planet for a bit. With King Kai surprised to see Raditz here because he was the one who sent Goku here in the first place, and the whole reason that Goku learned it in general. Raditz in Blue is slightly above Goku in Blue just because of him having Ultimate. However, Goku's Kaioken is way higher than Raditz's, So when in Blue Kaioken, he does outpace Raditz a little bit, which amazes Raditz because even without having his potential unlocked, Goku is still ahead of him and Vegeta, at least at his maximum output. But the two still aren't able to do anything against Jiren together, until Goku jumps back and tries to charge a Spirit Bomb, with Raditz fighting off Jiren the entire time. Although it's not really necessary because Jiren could fight Raditz off easily if he uses a little bit more power. He just wants to see how strong Goku's Spirit Bomb can get, so he basically lets him charge it. Goku finally charges it up, launching the Spirit Bomb right at Jiren. And despite being much more powerful than the one that we saw in canon, it's still not really going to do anything against Jiren. Goku almost even falls into it, but Raditz is able to save him in the nick of time, telling Kakarot he's got to be more careful. It would have been terrible for him to fall in the Spirit Bomb, right? But this also gives everyone else the opportunity to see how strong Jiren is, or at least a fraction of his strength. Vegeta ends up getting to face Cabba again, with 16 alongside Vegeta, trying to make sure no one interferes with their battle. Speaking of androids, 17 and 18 are actually fighting off some of the Pride Troopers right now alongside Krillin. After facing Jiren, Raditz and Goku actually need some time to recover, so they actually end up facing the other Universe 6 Saiyans. Interested to see Saiyans from another universe.
2v2?
Even though it's not the first time they've seen it, of course. Gohan and Goten are still fighting really cautiously. Not just in terms of trying to conserve their strength, but also trying not to get knocked out. They fight a lot of the weaker fighters. Basically, they want to save as much power as possible, and when the time comes, they're going to fight the strongest opponents there. Coming across some other Pride Troopers as well alongside the androids. Excited to see some other superheroes. It reminds Gohan of the good old days of being Saiyan. And you know, even though Goten kinda gave up on that, he still does admire it. Universe 6 also gets eliminated fairly quickly. Jiren eliminates Hit. The Namekians fight against Piccolo and see his amazing power and his evolution, with them ending up losing that battle too.
Okay.
Cabba eventually falls out of the ring too after his fight with Vegeta not being the one to knock him out, but helping him unlock a level above Super Saiyan. Kale and Caulifla eventually fuse into Kefla, and Vegeta even considers using Fusion here because if they can use the Potara, now is his chance to actually try it out. He still does kind of regret not doing it in the last arc. It seems like it could be an interesting experience, but instead he ends up joining Goku and Raditz, with Vegeta unlocking his own evolution of Blue, Super Saiyan Blue Evolution, with the 3 Pure Saiyans fighting together against the Pure Saiyan Fusion. And the 3 of them combines a little bit overkill actually. Vegeta also ends up eventually fighting Toppo, fighting alongside 16, 17, and 18. And Vegeta could see that Toppo actually has more strength locked away, trying to egg him on so he can unleash it. He doesn't know what reason Toppo has for holding it back, but he tells him the alternative is letting his universe perish, so he might as well fight with everything he's got.
Might as well fight.
The androids are actually kind of surprised to see Vegeta egging him on, especially because it works, and he unleashes his God of Destruction mode. But in a 4v1, they're actually able to defeat Toppo relatively quickly, with Vegeta being the main powerhouse there. Once again regretting not fusing because if they fused there, Toppo probably would have been a relatively easy opponent to fight against.
Vegeta don't care about fusing this much, Charlotte. Come on now.
Goku does end up facing Jiren again, this time alongside Raditz and Vegeta. Although Vegeta's pretty worn out after his fight with Toppo, and Goku's pretty worn out too. Raditz is definitely the best off of the 3 of them so far, having lost the least amount of stamina. And much later on in the tournament, Goku gets the catalyst he needs to finally go into Ultra Instinct, being pushed to his brink by Jiren. Raditz and Vegeta are both astounded. Vegeta's gotten his own evolution, and Raditz finally got to try out Blue Kaioken, but Goku, he's gotten something completely different. They have no clue what this is.
Ultra Instinct,
all the
Goku.
gods, they look completely amazed. They wonder if they'd be able to pull this off too, especially after seeing it in action. It seems to be really helpful here, and really powerful. However, it also gets Jiren to show off more of his strength. He already has shown more power so far, but Goku's getting worn out pretty quickly by Ultra Instinct, and Jiren's getting more serious. This is a bad combination together, because surprisingly enough, it leads to Goku getting knocked out. Despite showcasing that awesome power, he was still surpassed by Jiren. Right then and there, Goku was the strongest on the team by far, and he was defeated just like that.
Ass, bro.
Jiren still
I'm tired of
has
seeing
full
this
strength. Raditz and Vegeta don't know what they're going to be able to do here, but at the very least they're not going to give up. It looks like Gohan and Goten have to stop holding back. This is what they were conserving their energy for. They do actually have something that might work here, but they were saving it just in case they needed it. These two, as well as Piccolo, join Vegeta and Raditz in their battle with Jiren. And Raditz wonders if they could truly keep up. Yes, they have amazing strength, but these two are gods right now. And at their current peak, they should be above the twins, especially with Goku being defeated, and him being the strongest here by far. The twins would need to surpass that even. And if they were able to do so, that still doesn't guarantee a victory against Jiren because Goku still lost. But Gohan tells Vegeta and Raditz to trust them. Raditz knows what they're capable of after all. And that's right. He wouldn't be surprised if they found some other way to surpass their limits. Or find one right now if they haven't already. And Jiren wonders what these two warriors will be capable of. Apparently they're the sons of Goku, the warrior that he just defeated. And he was pretty impressive, possibly the strongest that he's ever faced. And the two start powering up. They tell Jiren, this isn't their peak. They know they could still go beyond this, and the only reason they held us back is because they weren't sure if they could tap into it again during the tournament. And even if they were able to, they'd burn themselves out pretty quickly, which is why they saved it until now. Their two auras combined, overflowing and filling the entire arena. Goku watches from the stands. He can't believe it. He didn't know they had that much power locked away, but he smiles, laughing to himself. Those two kids really never cease to amaze him. Vegeta and Raditz shield themselves from the aura, with Raditz laughing the entire time. Their transformation completes, showing off a new terrifying
Not
white
the
hair
Beast.
couple, each using the same exact power. This is Beast Gohan and Beast Goten. The two of them vanished, with Jiren even being surprised at their speed. He couldn't even keep track of that. Quickly, he throws both of his arms up, blocking a kick from either side, but he struggles to hold it back. The two of them aren't wasting any time, because if they do waste time, they're going to run out of energy. And Jiren can't believe warriors that strong were in this ring the entire time, being pushed to show his own full power. Gohan and Goten know they're basically on a time limit right now. Until they learn to better control this form, it's going to run out pretty quick. So, they should finish this as quickly as possible too, and they should try a combo move. They actually don't have one planned, but maybe they can come up with something on the fly. Gohan tells Goten he'll act as the bait, and they can improvise the rest. Gohan rushes in to attack Jiren, then moving around quickly and creating clones. Jiren's easily able to tell which ones are clones, but it gives Goten the opportunity to slip away onto a rock above them. Goku enjoys all this while watching from the stands. He recognizes that move that Gohan's using. He's copying him. His sons are using everything they learned. As Gohan's clones distract Jiren, Goten jumps up in the air, launching a barrage of ki blasts down, destroying the ring around Jiren as Gohan jumps back. But Jiren's able to keep himself in, jumping off the small pieces of it. Although, Gohan continues to try to beat him downwards. Jiren lets out a massive burst of ki, trying to launch Gohan backwards. And as Gohan's flung back by Jiren's power, he smiles to himself. He could use a bit more power. He could finally test out this
use a bit more power then, little nigga.
Jiren really is that strong. Jiren rockets upwards trying to attack Gohan as he's launched up. But Goten then rockets down past him, hitting Jiren directly with a kick, launching a blast from his feet right in front of Jiren's face, propelling himself upwards. In midair, he grabs onto Gohan, swinging him downwards too, with him launching the same kick at
take that. Come on,
propelling himself upwards just like Goten did. They continue repeating this, swinging each other back and forth. Doing this dozens of times within a fraction of a second. The two fight so well together that they improvise this technique pretty much on a whim. And simultaneously, they each come up with the same exact name for this technique. They'll call this their ping pong technique. They continue launching each other back and forth, and each time they do so, it gets faster and faster. And even without flight here, this happens so quickly that they keep up with the momentum and neither of them falls down while up in the air. And Jiren's completely stunned by it. But at some point the technique ends, and the two of them link together up in the air, going back to back, with each locking an arm together.
Oh shit.
They then each stick their free arm up into the sky, simultaneously launching a blast up to act as a thruster. At speeds so fast that no one can even comprehend it, they then simply appear on the ground, or at least what remains of the ground, followed by a powerful shockwave right after, with Jiren also appearing in the stands. The ring has been completely pulverized into dust, and there's only a few small sections of rock left behind. And inadvertently, they even knocked out some of the allies that were still in the ring. Whoops, that was a little bit too much power. With all the power they were using, they kicked downwards and knocked Jiren right through the ring. But it was so quick that no one could even see it. It looked like they all just teleported. And immediately after this too, they drop out of the form going back into their base, with Universe 7 taking victory and winning the tournament, and Goten's the one who gets the wish here, since he's the leader and is still in the ring. And he makes the right wish, wishing for all the other universes to come back. And the Universe 7 takes a lot away from this tournament. Vegeta has his own evolution and wants to continue with this. As for Raditz, he knows he has further to go, not just with Blue Kaioken, but maybe he could even do something else, especially after seeing Ultra Instinct. As for Goku, of course he's going to try Ultra Instinct again too. Raditz really wants to see it, but Goku can't do it again willingly. As for Gohan and Goten, they need to continue working with these beast forms. And Goku wants to see more of that as well, although he tells them, don't show it to Chi-Chi because she'll probably freak out. Actually, they probably shouldn't show it to their wives either because they might have the same reaction.
Right.
The form is kind of terrifying. Even Piccolo agrees. He knew these two had some crazy reserves of power, but not like that. And it leaves Raditz wondering, what would he look like with that same form? It would probably be terrifying because his hair would stand up an extra 6 feet probably.
Yeah.
But there's no point focusing on that because it seems like it's something unique to them. Possibly tied to their innate rage, as well as the fact that each of them had their potentials unlocked somehow. Goten's from Ultimate, and Gohan from fusing with Goten, as well as Super Saiyan 4 drawing out some of that potential. But even without that, they probably would have gotten this regardless. It's definitely something that fits them, and something that they should have expected. And Raditz agrees with this theory. He saw these two as kids.
I do like the beast form. The beast form is fire.
He knows how they were back then. It's definitely from that. Goku and Piccolo concur too. Goku's been on Beerus' planet for so long that he didn't realize what they've gotten here on Earth. Obviously, he knew the twins were strong, but not like this. He didn't know they surpassed their limits that quickly, and that explosively. It looks like he has a long way to go. He's gonna get Ultra Instinct and surpass them. They act as a great motivator. What better rival to have than his own sons, his own students? Following the Tournament of Power.
Well, shout out to Shaolin Shan for this video, boy. Ultra, boy, they were fighting, boy. There was a lot of fighting, boy. They beat Vegeta Black, they beat Zamasu, the Tournament of Power, they beat Jiren, all them, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, shout out to Shaolin Shan, bro, for this video. Check out the last chapter right here, check out another video right here, and shoot, man, I'll catch y'all next time. Peace.